This isn't scripted, and it's definitely not filtered.
I know I have an addictive personality. I know I do. And I've really felt prominently that business has become my new addiction.
This is Hard Truths, Uncut. We talk about all the things everyone's thinking, but nobody's saying online.
Are you happy?
Am I happy? I don't know.
If you're easily offended, this probably isn't for you.
I was already so deep into hustle culture, doing high ticket sales, trying to start businesses, where I already cut off a good amount of friends. So you were pretty much just another one.
And if that makes you uncomfortable, good. Now let's get into it.
This is my second podcast ever. Thank you for tuning in. And today I got a special guest here, Cory J. Weigel.
Great to be on. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. I know it's very short notice with this podcast. We actually have the camera set up against a cup filming this, but hey, we're making it work. So anyways, me and Cory, we have a lot of past. There's a lot of history, and it's pretty fascinating to see kind of where we are at right now with our entrepreneurship journey and where life has just taken us in general, man. So, I mean, to kick things off here, like, why don't you let's just like tell the guys what how things really started off with us, our friendship.
Yeah. So Max and I met in college. We were both taking the business program, I think it was. And I met Max through a mutual friend of mine. His name's Enzo. And he had a class with you, with Max. And I think somewhere through there, I don't remember exactly the first time I met Max, but it must have been a very, it should have been one to remember. The guy was weird, man, in college. So I'm surprised I don't remember it. But yeah, I met Max through a mutual friend just in school. We liked working out and we were in some of the same classes and stuff. So we just, became pretty good friends. We were working out quite a bit. We were just cool and hanging out and stuff. And then, why don't you tell them about kind of the fall of our friendship?
Yeah, so I guess we made a video on it, just talking about it, but that's why I kind of want to bring it up, because you can make a 30, 45-second long bit, like a reel discussing what happened, but truly deep diving into kind of the feelings and everything. It's very different, but I ended up getting broken up with a girl that I was convinced at the time that was the love of my life, and that like I almost surrounded my world around my future with her, which I mean 17, 18-year-old, like what, So that happened and I just got hit with a rock. Like I was destroyed, and instead of coping with those, I feel like people cope with their decisions in kind of two different avenues when something big like that happens, right? It's either self-betterment or you go down the wrong path, right? And it started off with self-betterment. Like I was going to the gym, like just grinding for a couple of weeks after that, I'd say. And I was just like kind of keeping to myself. But then after that, I just got mixed up with the wrong group of people. And that was just like a life that I was never accustomed to, because all of my friends in like my life before that were very like straight and narrow and not really about that kind of lifestyle of partying all the time and like doing drugs and whatnot. So once I got a taste of that, and I didn't have a girlfriend telling me, don't do that, right? And I got like a taste of this freedom. I was like, holy smokes, like this is awesome. This is crazy. This is like unfiltered. I get to do whatever I want, say whatever I want. And then it was fun for a while. And then next thing you know, started losing friends like you, and other friends as well started losing those friends. And instead of me clocking in to realize I might be the problem, it was like, well, those guys are losers. They're not being friends with me, right? And it's just like their loss, And then it didn't take till actually just being down the rabbit hole for a good year and a half to really start losing a lot of close friends, and then like really having like this close friend group of people that were just degenerates and not going anywhere in life, for me to actually realize, hey, my purpose in life is a lot more than this, and I'm meant for a lot more. So this needs to end.
Yeah, I remember like you became someone that was cool to party with and be around. You know, you're kind of hyper, like just social, and you knew a good time, but it went from having a good time with you and like kind of pushing us to do like kind of extra stuff and party a bit harder to like it's not even fun being around you no more. It's like forcing to either do drugs or just like involved with the wrong crowd where you see things you shouldn't see. And it was all the time and just saying like really stupid stuff all the time,
Yeah.
just living like an idiot, doing literally stupid stuff, sabotaging your health, like wrapping other people into that, where it just wasn't fun. It wasn't the same type of partying that was going on. It was just like partying to do it. And because you don't know how else to live. But that's when I had the mentality of really, if anyone's not inputting into my life, then I will cut them off because I know what my mission and my goal is. So it was a total cutoff from Max. And like, I can't lie, I was talking poorly about you behind your back.
Yeah, pretty vilely actually.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
Just saying, like, I don't know why anyone would hang out with the guy. Like, what's going on? He's an idiot, this and that, which I truly meant at the time. My perspective has changed a bit to where I should have made an effort to reach out just for the good of, like, just for the good of supporting others and just being like a good person. I should have like mentioned something or tried to, you know, play a part in your life that steered you in a different direction. But you know, I don't think you would have listened, but anyway, I should have tried. I just didn't at all. I just was a total cutoff, which I don't really believe in that anymore. But yeah.
Well, how have you changed from a person from back when you were doing high ticket sales at that period of time? I think that's when I was really going off the deep end, right? You know, like that was very, from what I grasped from that was you're very like hustle culture mode. Like I'm grinding. I'm doing whatever it takes to like, you know what I mean? Like really grinding, cut off. That's why it was easy for you to make the decision to cut me off, right? Like
Totally.
how has things changed now from back then from who you were?
Yeah, that's really interesting. You say that. I was already so deep into hustle culture, doing high ticket sales, trying to start businesses, where I already cut off a good amount of friends. So you were pretty much just another one along the way of cutting those people out of your life and being surrounded by the right people. Now, how has that changed in my life? I don't need to cut any other people out of my life. And I don't think you need to totally cut people out. Like, man, some people go as far as to say you cut out family members that aren't contributing to your success. And some of those old friends that don't contribute in any way to your entrepreneurship or success for making more money, living the life you want. But I have really good memories with those people and I still love them and I enjoy talking to them every now and then. And I will welcome them back with open arms, do anything for them. They're a big part of my life. And like, I think that's important as well. Like, it's kind of selfish to only if they contribute to your life will you speak to them or give them the time of day. But you doing that for them could really be contributing to their life. So that has changed a lot. I won't spend unnecessary time with those people still though.
Yeah, you can't. You can't. I mean, that's one thing that I've realized too is you're a literal product of the 5 closest people in your life, you know? And I do agree it is very important to keep some sort of contact with maybe those people that don't represent what you're trying to take on in life, right? But it's also this fine line of you can't become too close to those type of people or else it will rub off on you. You know, if you're hanging out with someone all the time, 24/7, that's just not saying great things or like they're just not doing something where they have purpose in their life, that kind of wears off on you a little bit. And then you feel that in your attributes.
100%. Like, even if You know, you live in water, you're gonna grow a blowhole. It's the same with friends. Like you adapt to your surroundings, just like in an environment, like a literal biome. If it's cold, you know, for however many years, hundreds of millions of years, you're gonna start growing longer hair and like literally changing physically. It's the same with friends, but just a lot quicker, and you change mentally and all your beliefs and everything. But friends is an interesting concept. Like, also, I just don't have many friends. I can think of maybe 3 or 4, like, if that, just good friends that I talk to. And some people have like as many friends as possible, you know, is good, like building, you know, kind of their network and their group. But what do you kind of think on that? If you should just know more people or know less people, but better?
And by know people, do you mean by friends, or do you just mean like people that you know?
Like people you would like, I would work with my friends. I would ask them for things. I would work with them and spend time with them. But working with those people, and you know, those are the guys you talk to when you have an issue, business, personal, that like closer circle.
Yeah. So how my views on that is my close circle is pretty close. Like I don't have a big circle when it comes to people that I actually, at the end of the day, it's like I want to talk to them about personal and business life, and it's like I respect them a lot. Like as like a close friend, I don't have very many people like that in my life. And I also have a big network of people that I do know where I would never, call them where if I'm struggling through something. And I think it's important to only keep maybe 3 or 4 people like that that's really close. For me personally, I think you can really understand someone to really close level if you just keep things kind of close. But if you have too many people like that, it's kind of hard to have that like intense kind of feeling to them. I feel like it'd be very difficult to have 20 friends that you're like, that's my brother right there, and there's like 20 different people, and have there not be some sort of fakeness behind the curtains that you don't know about. And it's hard to have those type of strong relationships. But I feel like if you have 3 or 4 people that you are 100% certain about that are the real people, then why would I let other people into that like super close tight knit circle, right?
Yeah, I kind of mean that in a way where what is more important, to have like a big group of people that you talk to and all in different areas, or have a smaller circle that just has stronger relationships? Because also I think that that tight circle, you can only nurture that to a point where like your brothers, you almost still need to expand out of that at some point. And it'd kind of be dumb not to like look for other connections or people you might want to grow that same relationship with. Like, how far can you go before that relationship isn't growing very much? You go to the gym for the first time, the first like few months of it, you're getting massive gains. But then after what, like 6 months of training, you're barely growing nothing. Could be the same with a relationship, where the first little while you're really like banging it off, like growing it. You have so much trust, but then to some point, it's really hard to break past like, I really trust this person and stuff. So you kind of do need to expand at some point.
Yeah. No, I could say like I might think that's true, but I mean where I'm at right now is like I'm certain about the people in my life. I'm growing right now. Everything, like the whole kind of situation that I feel like I put myself in, feels really great. And I feel like I don't need to, like, I don't want to take the risk of letting someone that close to me when I've been bitten in the ass so many times in the past with people that I thought were great people with like great hearts that weren't actually to be, where why would I take that risk when I don't need to? Because I'm so certain about those close people in my life. Especially, I mean, with we're high performers, right? And a lot of people lie about what they're actually doing, and they might sound like they know what they're doing, or secretly they're acting like they're your true friend that really wants to really wants to like be connected with you and whatnot, and then you find out that they actually wanted something out of you, whether it was like you know, like all of these different other attributes, where it is a hard thing to let someone like that into your life.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, dude. In business though, like in our careers, we might be working with so many different people and having different opportunities come to us where we almost need to meet more people and get more experience of like sussing people out, like being able to recognize patterns and behaviors in people, like, oh, I've seen this before, I shouldn't trust this guy. I think that only comes from knowing more people and almost building those relationships up, and then them breaking for some reason is almost good. I think people need that. You be able to recognize those patterns in that person to this other person that you're talking to or might do business with. I think it's important to see those.
Is that what you're doing? Is that what you're doing right now? Like, I mean, like with people on the internet or just in general, like, are you really trying to expand that for yourself?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I've been way much more strategic at when I'm speaking to somebody or working with them, trying not to brush off the way they speak or their like subtle mannerisms or way they deal with things. I'm trying to be like, okay, I've had a great experience with someone similar who I've made a lot of money with or who has been such a genuine guy in my life. I'm trying like to connect the dots between two people because I think there is traits in people that mean certain things. Like if you're following along with what I'm saying, it's kind of hard to explain, but someone might actually be born with one part of their brain that is lacking trust or empathy or something and might make them act in a way like physically or the way they speak that could be similar to somebody else with that same part of their brain. You know, I actually think those traits align.
And do you think that's something they were born with, or do you think that's something that was developed over, like, say, childhood trauma?
Dude, I'm no expert, man, but like could be both. Could be both. But
And that's something you're actively trying to do, is be more analytical with people and the way they speak and present themselves to pick up those subtle differences.
I've seen patterns like yeah, it's not like I read this anywhere or saw someone doing this. I've just slowly, by even this opportunity of buying the liquor store, I've met so many new people and who have potentially wanted to work with me, or earlier in my life doing high ticket sales. I've talked to so many prospects on the other edge of the screen or other side of the screen. But I've just noticed I can see the same thing from one person to the other that means, you know, a red flag in somebody. So the more people you talk to and surround yourself with allows you to be able to do that. I think that's important. Even looking for a girlfriend, right? Or just talking to more women. It's the same thing there. Like if you're looking for a girlfriend or a wife, it might actually be a good thing to date more women or just at least speak to them and be around them. You can recognize those patterns more.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. And I mean, is that like, do you think people can change, you know? Like, do you think someone has that red flag when they're 22? Like, do you think you could talk to them in 10 years and give them like a full fresh start on getting to know them and building something like that, even though 10 years ago you're like, oh, I don't trust this person like at all? Do you think people can change, or do you think once they're stuck with that?
Well, dude, look at you. You're a great example of somebody who is living in sin, in just a pit, and saying terrible things, acting one way where you would never trust that person or want to be around that person. But now you have changed, but how much you can truly change is interesting. Like what probably hasn't changed is your addictive personality. Like who knows, if you are born with that and you did start drinking again or started doing something that might really like be bad for you, that might still be with you. I don't know. Do you think you've truly changed? Like your behavior can change, but your brain, I guess, does change, hey? Like it can.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. And it's funny you say that because I have felt that I know I have an addictive personality. I know I do, and I've really felt prominently that business has become my new addiction.
Hmm.
And or it's just like I know that I have this addictive personality, and I become very obsessive over things, and that's where business has really become that addictive obsessive thing for me. And obviously it's shown as a good thing, right? Because I'm making a difference and I'm actually building something with purpose, and I feel good because there's like purpose in my life.
Hmm.
But now I'm kind of at this struggling point of like my business, like I'm on this, like I don't need to be just hustling 24/7, just like build something that isn't here anymore, right? Like I'm at a point now where things are being built, and I'm not at this like starting base point, and it's like, all right, how do I take a step back now where I can enjoy time with my family without feeling the need to talk about business the whole time or make it my entire personality where I
But do you think you're a different person? Like how deep have you changed now from that person you were when you were deep into the like partying?
the way that I obviously the way that I talked and the way that I speak and the way that I represented myself was completely different than the way that I am now. Like I'm a little bit more intellectual, and like I use my words as properly as I can and whatnot. But as like from my heart deep down, I don't think that ever changed. I think I always had a good heart, and that's why I asked that earlier, because I think there's people, no matter how addicted they are to something or what they're getting themselves involved in, I feel like you can sense if someone has a good heart and good intentions or they don't. I feel like I was in a tough place in life, but I always had a good heart. I always want to see people happy, and I think that was like when I was partying and stuff, and I was like maybe I was pushing things on people is because I felt so good when I was doing all the like I was drinking, doing whatever. So I was like, oh, if I feel so good doing this right now, then everyone else should be doing it too because I want them to feel good as well. Even though that was coming from just a terrible place, I do feel that I've always been a good person internally, and that's never changed. And I'm not sure if other people can, you know,
Yeah, have you ever seen The Grinch?
yeah,
Where like his heart does change, it grows.
yeah,
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, even talking about this, I don't know how deep people can change, but saying people don't change is a bit ridiculous, I think. Um, but I like to think of an example. It's just coming to mind. Like if your girlfriend cheats once on you, maybe she does change and doesn't cheat on you again. She turns a new leaf and is very loyal to you. You probably still don't want to be with her
no,
because she cheated on you. So even if someone does change, but you have a bad experience with them previously, doesn't mean you need to, accept them like they already did you wrong. And it's totally fair to move on from that person,
yeah,
I think,
totally.
you know.
Well, I mean, that's what they say that in the Bible, right? Love thy neighbor. And that's been something that I have been practicing a lot. It's tough, Someone does you really dirty, like really dirty, and you know that they're coming from a terrible place and they don't have good intentions, right? And they did you wrong. To look at them and say, I forgive you, and then execute yourself from their life and just be like, I'm not gonna choose to be around that person. It is tough because personally, when I forgive someone, I genuinely forgive them. And by forgiveness, I mean, I still want to spend like time with that person. So I've felt where there's been people that have done me dirty, they've done me wrong. And I'm like, I forgive you, but then I actually forgive them, and then next thing you know, they're still in my life, and then they gradually become more and more into my life, where the full execution needs to happen, but it's very hard to execute that someone fully, but then forgive them,
Yeah.
like genuinely forgive them.
You would be a good guy to talk to because I've been thinking about this exact topic where it's easy to say, oh, I read in the Bible, you should forgive. So you can say, I forgive you. But what does genuine forgiveness look like? Because it's easy to say, I should forgive this person for cheating on me and saying, okay, that's what I should do. I forgive you. But then you're still upset with them. You're still letting it get to you. You think they're a terrible person. You might say a thing or two behind their back. Like, what does you say you can genuinely forgive people? What does that actually look like?
I think genuinely forgiving someone is not having that like that anger when you're like looking at someone that did you like super wrong, right? And you forgive them. The forgiving means not having that like kind of like stinging like where like you can look at them with like gracefulness and kind of happiness of like, I forgive you, and it's more of like I'm praying for you because I feel sorry about your situation, and not having that like internal kind of like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, man, are you happy?
Am I happy? That's a loaded question. That is a loaded question.
Are you?
Am I happy? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm very distracted, and I do find a lot of purpose in what I'm doing, and the feeling of growing something bigger than myself does give me a lot of happiness. But am I internally happy? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I've been hearing a lot. It seems to be a really big topic these days with a lot of influencers that I listen to and a lot of people I respect. And like happiness, I think, has gotten a bit overcomplicated where people are really trying to even say like you shouldn't be chasing happiness, chase things that make you happy, or chase fulfillment or pride, or all of these different things that might make you then happy. Or happy is a loaded term in and of itself, but like I think it's just getting overcomplicated, this whole happiness stuff.
I think it is. And with happiness, I find, like when I call you at the end of the day, right? And I've had a clearly like just stressed out, like super like crazy day, right? And I bring that energy with me like onto the phone with you, right? Where I'm like kind of being short with you and whatnot, and I'm clearly not happy in that moment, right? I'm not happy for that whole day. No matter really what I say, I'm just not happy. So asking, are you happy? What does that really even mean? Who's really happy? And I think people like like they tie happiness with, a lot of things. Dopamine, maybe, where they're getting a lot of dopamine and then they're feeling happy. Or say, I have a big win with my business. Now I'm feeling happy, but am I genuinely happy where I have like this feeling of happiness throughout my days and days, even though there's problems going on in my business and things going on with adversity? No, probably not.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I've a lot of people have asked me that too. Like, how can I be more happy? Just like DMs and what makes you happy. But I've been trying to live more of the thought where if you become a positive person, like it's impossible for negative things to make you unhappy if you just are a positive person.
Yeah.
And what I think that means is being grateful for what you have and understanding your in place and time and what your purpose really is here. Getting clear on your goals, but I'm curious on your thoughts on that. Like, I think being happy is different than being a happy person.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. No, it definitely is. Because I mean, you can feel happy with any depressed person could like feel
Mm-hmm.
happy, But actually being a happy person, that's a I don't know really how to I don't know how to achieve that. I don't know how to achieve that.
Yeah.
I feel like I could talk about it with you right now, right? And then I could get in
Mm-hmm.
this mindset of, I'm gonna try and be a happy person. Well, maybe that lasts for a week. And
Mm-hmm.
then next thing you know, I'm just you just fall right back into
Yeah.
the normalness, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you actually be happy all the time
Yeah.
and have you genuinely be happy, not just you saying you're
Yeah.
happy.
Because, hey, myself as well, like I'm struggling with that too. And there's so much pressure almost, it seems, for you to be happy. Like, why you all kind of think sometimes, like, why aren't I as happy as I should be? Or where does that really come from? But yeah, being a happy person, I'm just like, this is a new thought of mine where I'm like, man, but that could really help people by trying to focus more on that, I think, then I should be happy. But I should become what can allow me to be someone where these negative things don't really affect me. Because, yeah, maybe it's a matter of not trying to increase happiness, but trying to decrease how much negative things affect you.
hmm
Yeah.
I think I've been the most happiest in my life. Like when I look at the grand scheme of everything, the happiest I have been in my life is when I'm closest with God.
Hmm.
That's when I've been the most happy. Like when I've been reading the Bible and when I've been praying a lot, and that's something that I slip out of here and there where I'll think about it and it's like, okay, I got to do this. And then I do it. But when I have been 2 weeks in a row straight of me reading the Bible consistently and
Hmm.
praying, it's when I have felt the most genuine happiness.
Hmm. I agree. I've personally felt that as well. And also, I've been the most happy in nature when I've spent more time outside. I'm starting to really think there's some type of connection there
Mm-hmm.
of happiness is related to how much time you like stand on grass and like rocks and like, yeah, like drink out of a river. It's just weird. Like I'm craving so badly right now. I've been cooped up for the last 6 months in the liquor store. And the only thing I want to do, the only thing on my mind is to go on a camping trip or to get out
Really.
and reconnect with like just tranquility and nature. And I'm like, man, maybe some of these like woo woo people are right with like, like being like sockless or wearing no socks and walking on grass. Like maybe there really is some type of connection there.
Like honestly though,
There might be.
honestly, that's why I want to leave Canada like
Mhm.
really bad. And it's not, I can sit here for hours and talk about how the Canadian government sucks because it does. And I could sit
Yeah.
here and rant about the immigration issues and all the nonsense, right?
What else?
I'm not gonna. I could go on for hours, but what I am gonna talk about is the fact that this country goes through months of it being cold with little sunlight.
Hmm.
It goes dark at 4 p.m. and it's like there's barely any sunlight. And the luxury of living somewhere where there is a lot of sun all the time and you're getting that sunlight and
Yeah.
you want to be outside and you want to be a part of that nature, I think there's a lot of freedom in that itself.
Hmm. Canada is extremely overrated, actually. It's crazy how many people I talk to from the States or everywhere else, and they still visualize Canada as like the green like paradise. Like you're blessed to live in Canada. And I'm actually over it. I can't exactly just hate and bash on the place that I grew up in and like, has treated me well. Like I'm in a decent spot and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not struggling, but it's not as glamorous as people make it out to be. But on your point, right? Like you just mentioned sun. Like why are we so connected to the sun? Like how does that make us feel so good? It's so weird how there's this big thing out there that's like feeding our mental energy and making us feel good. Like,
Yeah. It's the sun. It's eating healthy, making sure that you're getting all of your nutrients. You're not lacking deficiency in anything. And that's what I think a lot of people are deficient.
bro, that's so true.
I was
So
talking,
true.
who I went on the first podcast with, Chris. I was talking to him off camera about this actually. And when he told this to me, I'm like, that is crazy. So he was telling me that he used to be so anxious all the time. And he used to just like wake up in the mornings and not know why he was anxious and like crippling anxiety. Doctors prescribe him with these antidepressants and like all these pills and stuff like that. And it just never really did anything, right? Until he basically got a full blood panel test done and he got his ancestry DNA results back. And then he basically took all the results from the blood panel, all the results from ancestry.com, put it into ChatGPT and said, based off my genetic bloodline and what I'm deficient in, what specifically do I need? And then it gave him exactly what he needed. And he said that he took what he was deficient in and he said that it changed his life and he swears by it. And he thinks a lot of people are specifically deficient in certain things and they don't know it because they talk to their doctors and all these doctors have generalized information about health and doctor stuff, right? But they don't actually know to do things like that to get you with exactly what you need. So, I mean, between that or even just getting checked for sleep apnea to see if you have sleep apnea, I was stopping breathing 20 times an hour in my sleep, never hitting a REM cycle. It was light sleep, wake up, light sleep, wake up, never hitting a REM. Getting that sleep mask helped me out, you know? So it's like, there might be something going on that you don't even know about.
Yeah. Well, speaking of deficiency, that's such a crazy thought. And first thing that comes to mind is like, not even nutrients. Like, we're probably so deficient in the proper nutrients and vitamins from food. Like, food's gotten just terrible. We're eating garbage and calling it food, but also probably deficient in human connection. The amount people spend on, like, I spend time on technology all the time. I'm not saying it's good, but we're probably deficient in human connection to nature. That could be anything like moonlight. Like, I'm speaking a little, like, it's a little weird, but yeah, probably in all aspects of your life, you're deficient in everything. It goes beyond the nutrients you put in your body. Like, deficiency, people relate that just to food. But you're right. You could be deficient in so many other areas of your life, and it all could combine into one big mess. And that's, lowers your test or dopamine levels or whatever, and could really make you unhappy.
And no wonder why people think they have depression or, because they think, oh, it's because I'm on my phone too much or my sleep schedule is fried, right? And that's why they don't have any like passion or like eager to go chase entrepreneurship or like actually pick a business and ride it out through the hard stuff because they can't handle the hard stuff. They can barely handle what's going on inside of their own bodies.
Yeah, it's hard to have everything, at where it should be. No, you can't be efficient in everything, all aspects of your life. So you have to prioritize what is the most important. But I've noticed one thing really falls off. Like, if your diet really falls off, then it's your sleep because you're feeling so crappy. And then it's your work because you're not getting enough sleep. And then it's like how you act at home because you don't have enough work getting done. And that's how the cycle like just gets deep and goes down. So maybe everything can be at like 70%. And you're like, maybe that's realistic of what we can do.
Yeah, but imagine what 100% would feel like. We don't even know, So, yeah, I think it's, I think there's so many attributes to life where, I was stuck in hustle culture, right? Like, I was deep into it, and that's not healthy, like, at all, right? And not having any aspirations or doing anything with your life, that's not healthy at all, right? And there are so many things in life where you gotta spend time with your family, and you gotta go get outside in nature, and you also need to be happy, and like,
Yeah.
where
Hustle culture sucks, dude. I hate it. And I'll be honest, I look at a lot of people who do live in their van and go traveling around the world, squeezing every penny they can. Like, they're in some shot van, and maybe they're going around with their girlfriend or something that loves them, and they're having the best time ever. And that's what truly makes them happy and actually looks like a better life than I'm living. I'm like, I wish I was almost doing that, but it's just not the way that I'm wired. Like, I just cannot do that. But those people, that is exactly how they're wired, and are so happy doing that and so fulfilled. And I've learned to say that for them is the best thing they could do. Like, I don't look down on that at all. I'm so happy for them, proud of them, and totally respect what they're doing. That is their life. And sometimes I'm envious of that, where I'm saying, like, why couldn't I have been born wired to appreciate that instead of what I'm doing right now?
Yeah. And I mean, with people that are doing that, I guess that kind of brings it back to, is that the purpose of life, is just be fulfilled, just to be happy? Is that like the purpose?
How much time do we got?
With what?
The purpose of life is crazy. Like, I don't know, man. I could be talking about that for a while, but I don't know. Actually, what is the purpose of life? I think that's what every single person on this planet is trying to figure out.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
and like, is there one right answer?
I was hoping you had the answer to tell me.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna just reveal the answer. No, I don't know. But you can take a pretty good guess and just try and do it.
Yeah.
Might look different for a lot of other people, but yeah, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, man, I was an addict a year ago, like, like,
Yeah.
I was a full-blown addict, to now I'm a full-blown hustle culture entrepreneur, to now I'm like, all right, what
Wannabe
like,
podcaster.
yeah, one big wannabe. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, what I could really ask for, all I could ask for, have a family, have kids, be able to provide a great life for my kids, having the ability to not put my kids in like public school, right? And just things like that, where I can go move if I need to, not just sit here like an idiot just saying, I hate Canada, but I'm making 25 an hour, so I couldn't move if I wanted to, So like, having that freedom, and then achieving that freedom, and then just being kind of the best all-around person that I can be for those immediate friends and family in my life.
Yeah, dude. I may have a hot take on that too, where I think it's really important that we don't know the answer to that question of what is the meaning of life. Because if we did know, everybody would be doing the same thing and all trying to do whatever's going to get them closer to that purpose of life. But the unknowing part brings out that like pioneering aspect of ourselves, where we don't know, and it's all these lessons learned and trying to figure out is almost the beauty of it all.
I guess. Well, maybe that just answers your question right there. Maybe there is no meaning to life because no one knows it, And if someone does think that they have the meaning to life, it could be different for someone else too, where they'd be like, yeah, well, what he said was good, but this part wrong,
Like, all of these experiences you have in your life form what your meaning of life is. It is different to everybody.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree more.
Well, we can just do the best we can with what we got.
Yep. Just ride it out.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, Cory, I appreciate having you on my podcast. It was great getting into it with you.
Thanks for having me.
Imagine I just didn't press record.
Yeah.